Hello and welcome. You're watching WION World as One. My name is Mohammed Saleh. And on the show today, Donald Trump has signed an order effectively slapping sanctions on the International Criminal Court for having issued an arrest warrant against the sitting Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu for committing war crimes and crimes against humanity against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. So what does this mean for the world order that currently exists at the moment? And in Pakistan, it will be 1 year since the general elections, and the former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, is to mark the anniversary as a black day. Are we looking at another possible showdown between the PTI and the government? But let's start with this big story from the United States, where Donald Trump has sanctioned another international organization. And this time it is not an aid organization, but a legal one. The American president has signed an order effectively slapping sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Now, Donald Trump has justified his decision, and he's accusing the ICC, that is the International Criminal Court, of baseless investigations targeting the United States and also its very close ally, the State of Israel. Now, the order says that the International Court had, and I quote, abused its power by issuing an arrest warrant for Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. Now, the order has come on the heels of Bibi's visit to Washington, and the International Criminal Court promptly responded to Donald Trump's actions by condemning the sanctions and urging the 125 member nations to lend its support. In a statement on social media platform X, the ICC has said that it firmly stands behind its personnel after Donald Trump authorized economic and travel sanctions against the investigators at the International Criminal Court. Now, analysts and war crime prosecutors now say that other countries need to rally behind the international organization and shoulder any financial impact of America's sanctions on the International Criminal Court.
Because if countries do not stand up now, this is the death knell for the court. And it is the death knell for the rule of law. And today it will be the International Criminal Court, and tomorrow it will be the International Court of Justice, and then it will be the European Human Rights Court, and then it will be the United Nations. And, you know, the world has spent so long building this multilateral rules-based order. It has now is the time to stand up and defend that order.
Now, the International Criminal Court was created by the Rome Statute in 1998 and was established in 2002. 125 countries are parties to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court after they ratified the treaty. Now, all EU states, along with Australia, Brazil, Britain, Canada, Japan, Mexico, Switzerland, 33 African nations and 19 nations in the South Pacific, are members and bound by the ICC's regulatory framework. Several major countries are not a member of the ICC. Russia signed the Rome Statute in 2000 but withdrew its support in 2016. The United States, China, Israel and Iran are amongst the key nations that are not state parties to the ICC. Now, the ICC is responsible for primarily investigating and prosecuting 4 core crimes, which include the crime of genocide, crime against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression.
AR fighters threw small children, including babies, into the bush as they were crying.
All right. On the broadcast, we're joined by retired Colonel Rich Outzen, who is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation, and he's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Colonel Outzen, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, this is something that is a lot of people would say is a death knell for the world order that currently exists. Donald Trump has been pulling the United States of America out of a lot of these international organizations, but now to sanction the International Criminal Court for having issued an arrest warrant against the sitting Israeli Prime Minister for committing war crimes. What does it mean? You know, the fact that the United States of America is going on a limb to protect its ally, the State of Israel, that is attached to its limb. What does it mean for the current world order that currently exists?
Well, it's good to be with you, Mohammed. First of all, let's remember this is not the first time that President Trump has sanctioned the ICC. He did so during his first term after the ICC began an investigation of alleged war crimes by U.S. forces in Afghanistan. So this is not really just about Netanyahu and about the recent war in Gaza. This is about Trump rejecting the authority of this court for these essentially political crimes. The second point to remember here is that to say that this is the end of international order, rules-based order, is to ignore the fact that, as you said earlier in the broadcast, the ICC was only established after 1998. The previous practice was for a specific tribunal to be set up, usually by the victors after World War I, after World War II, after the Balkan Wars in the 90s.
Right.
Specific to the alleged instances. So rather than having a standing court to do specific court. So it's not that there is no option. This is a relatively new sort of approach to an old problem.
You know, a lot of legal experts around the world would be looking at this and they would say that the International Criminal Court, 125 countries are members of it, and to sanction it is effectively a death knell for an international organization such as this. Now, you're a military guy, Rich Townsend, so tell us about, you know, this contrast that people are looking at. Donald Trump, all through his campaigning, said that he wants to take the United States out of these forever wars that the United States has been embroiled in. And just in the last 3 weeks, we've heard that Donald Trump wants to take over the Gaza Strip. He had said that he wants the American soldiers to be there, something that was backtracked later by his Secretary of State. He's also said that he wants to take over Greenland. He's said that America wants to have its presence in the Panama Canal. Now, all of these things would probably indicate that America is not walking out of these forever wars. And another issue that needs to be mentioned is that Donald Trump, who said that he wants to end the Ukraine war in a span of a day, now wants to support the Ukrainian war effort by making access to Ukrainians' minerals being conditional. So that means that America is not walking away from these forever wars that it is embroiled in, even under Donald Trump.
Well, I would disagree with part of the premise of that. I mean, when he talks about Greenland, Panama, even Gaza, remember his background as a businessman and a real estate developer. Essentially, his premise is that there's almost always a business deal that can be struck that will be profitable for all sides. Now, some cases that's true, and in some cases that's not true.
Right.
But he's a negotiator and a businessman. I really do think he has, based on the U.S. experience in Iraq and Afghanistan, an abhorrence of these forever wars, especially if it means the loss of American blood. On the point of the ICC, though, let me point this out, that interestingly, almost all of the countries with major military and power projection capabilities are in fact not signatories to the Rome Statute, or if they've signed it, they haven't ratified it. So any country that can conduct sovereign military action typically refrains from giving a standing body the right to say whether those actions are criminal in nature. There's a conundrum really at the center of the ICC's mandate. So I think it's a thorny legal issue, and reports of the death of the international world order based on these sanctions are clearly premature.
All right, very quickly though, you said that Donald Trump is making a lot of these decisions such as Denmark, Panama Canal and the Gaza Strip and Ukraine. Does it mean that the military-industrial complex in the United States is so powerful that it does dictate America's foreign policy?
That's not how I read it, although certainly...
No, the reason why I asked that question is because it is profitable to fight these wars, and therefore there is profit to be made, so America will fight these wars.
Well, let's give the man some time. He's been in office about a month. He's said some things that have stirred some people up. He's posited some ideas, but he also achieved a ceasefire in Gaza through strong arming both Hamas and the Israelis. So, no, I think let's give him the better part of his administration. Let's give him a year, not just a month, and see if he ends more wars than he starts. My guess is yes, and I think he's the one man who can rein back the military-industrial complex most effectively, not somebody who's just going to let it dictate where our foreign policy
All right, we'll have to see as to how Donald Trump, of course, acts. Thank you very much indeed, Colonel Townsend, for joining us with that perspective there.
Thank you.
Let's now shift our attention to the other story that we are tracking on race to power. Donald Trump is reportedly continuing his rally to try and sack federal officers from their jobs. The latest to make this accusation against the president is the Federal Election Commissioner and the chair, Ellen Weintraub. On Thursday, the EC chair said that Donald Trump had sent her a letter with the purpose of firing her. Now, Weintraub posted the letter on social media platform X, which he says, and I quote her here, "Now, you are hereby removed as a member of the Federal Election Commission, effective immediately. Now, the Election Commission chair went on to state that the method that was deployed by Donald Trump to try sack her is just not legal. According to the Federal Election Commission website, Ellen Weintraub has been the commissioner since 2002. Her appointment, according to protocol, has been unanimously confirmed by the US Senate. She's been elected to chair the commission for 2025. It is important to note here that Weintraub is a Democrat. The vice chair, James Traynor, is a Republican. Now, the election commissioner is the latest in Trump's line of fire since assuming office on the 20th of January. The American president has fired hundreds of civil servants and top officials across federal agencies. The new administration has said that its goal is to downsize, to make the government more efficient. Now, many of those who've been sacked or sidelined are being replaced by individuals who are clearly loyal to Donald Trump. After the recent discovery of a clandestine tunnel connecting the United States and the Mexican cities of El Paso and Juarez, the Mexican authorities have launched an operation to uncover other illegal underground passengers. The Veronica Wilfane narrates this report by Cesar Contreras.
This illegal secret passage connects Mexico's Ciudad Juarez and the U.S. city of El Paso in Texas. The tunnel under the Rio Grande River is a little over a meter wide and nearly 2 meters high. It connects with a storm sewer system and is equipped with lighting and ventilation.
It is lined with wooden beams, as you will be able to see. It has beams, it has wood to prevent collapses.
Authorities believe this underground route was used to smuggle both migrants and drugs from Mexico to the United States. U.S. Border Patrol agents in El Paso discovered the tunnel on January 9th during an inspection of a storm drain and began sealing it on the northern side of the border a week later. Mexican authorities have started closing the tunnel on their end and say they're looking for others.
We have increased search activities to detect other tunnels, if there are any, and our presence will be maintained permanently.
The Mexican government has increased patrols at strategic points in Juarez to prevent migrants from becoming trapped in tunnels or falling victim to human traffickers as they attempt to cross the border illegally.
Our main purpose is to protect migrants and ensure they don't risk their lives trying to enter the United States illegally. However, after the discovery of this tunnel, we're also focused on searching for other tunnels in the area.
Investigations are ongoing, and Mexican authorities have reiterated their commitment to shutting down illegal routes along the border. For Cesar Contreras in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, Veronica Villafañe, VOA News.
Election rhetoric has reached fever pitch in India's national capital one day before the pivotal results for the assembly polls are declared. The ruling Aam Aadmi Party and also the opposition Bharatiya Janata Party in Delhi are at loggerheads once again. The former Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal has accused the Bharatiya Janata Party of trying to poach his party candidates. Now, Kejriwal's allegations have come ahead of counting of votes on Saturday. Hitting back, the Bharatiya Janata Party has threatened to take legal action if the Aam Aadmi Party does not drop the allegations. Now, Kejriwal has alleged that 16 Aam Aadmi Party candidates had received calls on Thursday with an offer of about 15 crore rupees from the Bharatiya Janata Party for changing sides. In an online post, Kejriwal also said that despite some exit polls predicting the BJP winning more than 55 seats, he wondered why they had to poach the rival candidates. Now, AAP's candidate Mukesh Ahlawat also echoed the party chief's claims and said that he too received an offer to change sides.
I got a call at 9 minutes past 12 yesterday and he said that he's acquainted with Parvesh Verma. He wanted me to speak with Parvesh Verma and meet him. I asked him what I would do by meeting him. The man said it was for my own benefit. He then said I would be made a minister and if possible I would also be paid. He then said he would pay me up to 15 crore rupees.
Now, rejecting the allegation, BJP Delhi chief Virendra Sachdeva said that the Aam Aadmi Party claims are a result of their frustration as they are staring at an electoral defeat. The Delhi's Lieutenant Governor has ordered a probe by the anti-corruption branch into Aam Aadmi Party's allegations of attempts by the BJP to poach its candidates. Now, the ACB team will be questioning the Aam Aadmi Party leaders Mukesh Ahlawat, Sanjay Singh and Arvind Kejriwal. Now, earlier in the evening, the Anti-Corruption Bureau had sent an official inquiry to the Aam Aadmi Party convener asking for details on the allegations made. Now, the investigating officials have asked Kejriwal to furnish details of the 16 Aam Aadmi Party leaders who had received phone calls, along with the details including names and phone numbers of the individuals who had made the alleged horse trading calls. Now, Delhi voted on the 5th of February to choose its next government. The votes will be counted, of course, tomorrow morning. Another power tussle is ongoing in the state of Maharashtra. The assembly elections held in November last year is still making headlines. The opposition parties are claiming voter discrepancies in the polls. Now, top leaders from three opposition parties, that is the Congress, the NCP Sharad Pawar and Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray, addressed a joint press conference. And in their statements, the Lok Sabha leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, alleged that he had uncovered many irregularities after scrutinizing voter data.
And we have been saying to the Election Commission that we are finding anomalies. We need the voter list, names, addresses of the voters of Maharashtra. We need, yes, with photographs. We need the voter list of the Lok Sabha election. We need the voter list of the Vidhan Sabha election. Because we want to understand exactly who these new additional... There is another factor in this, which we have also found, which we want to understand. There are many voters that have been deleted.
Now, leaders from other parties present there rallied behind Rahul Gandhi's accusations and urged the Election Commission to provide the answers.
If the Election Commission of the country is alive, they must answer what Rahul Gandhi ji has asked. But the Election Commission won't reply as they have become the slave of the GOFT, which was formed. From where these additional 39 lakh voters will go? They will go to Bihar. We have seen a few of them in Delhi elections. They will now go to Bihar and then UP.
Now, the Election Commission, in a post on social media platform X, said that the poll body will address the matter that was raised in writing. Meanwhile, leaders from Maharashtra's ruling coalition, including the Chief Minister, slammed the opposition for allegedly making false statements.
वोटर्स कहाँ से आए, वोटर कहाँ आए, किसका नाम काटा, इसका सारा जवाब इलेक्शन कमीशन ने दिया हुआ है.
The Election Commission has categorically replied to all the questions. Rahul Gandhi is simply resorting to cover fire as he knows that after the election results on the 8th of February, his party will be nowhere in Delhi. Hence, whatever he'll say on that day, how he will create a new narrative, he is practicing for these things.
समाप्त होने वाला है, इसलिए उस दिन क्या बोलना और किस प्रकार से नया नैरेटिव तैयार करना, इसकी प्रैक्टिस वो कर रहे हैं.
Now, Maharashtra went to elections on the 20th of November last year. Voting was held to elect the 288 members of the state's Legislative Assembly. The BJP-led Mahayuti Alliance won 152 seats, while the Congress-led MVA Alliance lost the mandate, securing 130 seats. Now, it will be 1 year tomorrow since the general elections in Pakistan. The former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, is to mark the anniversary as a black day and also a possible government versus PTI face-off bruise again. Now, Imran Khan's party is gearing up for the big protest demonstrations even amidst talks of a possible deal with the army. The party claims that the election was actually stolen from them. A major PTI protest rally is planned at the Minaret Pakistan in Lahore, the capital of Pakistan's Punjab province. Now, the government has refused permission and Imran Khan's party has moved the courts. Now, Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi has warned the PTI against defying law and order. Naqvi said that any non-compliance will lead to a situation that is similar to clashes between the PTI cadre and the police in Islamabad on the 26th of November. The Shahbaz Sharif government had deployed the army in the city on the 26th of November with orders to shoot the PTI protesters if necessary. There were clashes at several places and also 6 people, including 4 security personnel, were killed. Imran Khan, who's in jail, has directed his party's lawmakers to hold protests in their own constituencies. The protests have also been called at the Swabi city on the Punjab-Khyber Pakhtunkhwa border, and the PTI has a government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Now, Imran Khan has said that his party will hold smaller demonstrations where formal permission has been refused. And WION's Anas Malik has sent us this report. Let's listen in.
Well, we're on the eve of the completion of 1 year to the elections of Pakistan, and the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf have announced major protests here in the provincial capital of Pakistan's Punjab in Lahore. The permission to the protest has formally been denied. The PTI also plans on holding a massive protest in Swabi along the border with Punjab in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But it is pertinent to mention that they will be coming out on the call of Imran Khan. Imran Khan has also said that those places where they will not be able to get permission, they should hold smaller protests in their own constituencies. What remains to be seen is that while the formal protest permission has been denied, the PTI says that they will be protesting here at the Liberty Chowk here in Lahore. So it would be interesting to see as to how the government will be dealing with the protest tomorrow. Anas Malik in Lahore, Pakistan for WION. World is one.
So as Ecuador prepares for its upcoming presidential elections on the 9th of February, campaigns have officially concluded. A mandatory silence period has taken effect and voters are all set to participate in the polls to elect both a president and also the national legislators, nearly 18 months after the previous presidential elections. The key contenders include the current president, Daniel Noboa, who's seeking re-election, and his closest challenger, Luisa Gonzalez, representing the Citizens' Revolution Party. Now, throughout their campaigns, the candidates have focused largely on their strategies to address the pressing issues related to security, energy and employment. Now, both candidates have been actively touring the country in recent weeks, struggling to secure the votes. Other than these two, there are 15 other candidates on the ballot. The runoff between Noboa and Gonzalez mirrors the 2023 election, where Gonzalez led in the first round but ultimately lost to Noboa. To win in the first round, a candidate must either surpass 50% of the valid votes or secure at least about 40% while maintaining a lead of 10 percentage points over their nearest rival. If no presidential candidate secures a majority in the first round, then a runoff election is scheduled for the month of April. And with that's a wrap on this edition of our newscast. Stay tuned to WION.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
We're tracking down the illegal alien criminals and we're detaining them and we are throwing them.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda,